In today's video, I'm going to redefine what the word multiple streams of income means. And then you get to make a decision for yourself on what way is the way to go. And I'll give you my opinion on this as well because I have strong opinions about this. So let me get right into it. There was a man back in the days. His name was Andrew Carnegie. You've heard a lot about Rockefeller. You've heard a lot about JP Morgan Chase. You've heard a lot about all these other names. The richest man that ever lived in America was a man named Andrew Carnegie. He sold his business back in the 1900s for $400 and some million, which in today's dollars, according to Wikipedia, his net worth today would be over $430 billion, 4 times richer than the second richest man in the world, which happens to be Jeff Bezos. He once said, put all your eggs in one basket. Just make sure you watch over your basket. Now, this is the richest man in the world ever in America saying something like that. Maybe there is something that we need to process and say, why would a guy like this have put all your eggs in one basket? Well, all these experts and authors and consultants are saying, no. You should diversify everything you have, right? Okay, stay with me here. 3 different definitions of multiple streams of income. One guy says you should have income coming from 7 different sources. Another person says multiple streams of income to me means I have a job, I make money off my stocks, bonds, real estate dividends, and I have a side hustle that I run, and that's how I make my multiple streams of income. Great. Number 3 is I run a business, I have employees, I have sales, I have investors, and I never ever want to have 50% of my revenues come from one client or one agent or one realtor or one executive. Because if 50% only comes from one client, one customer, one account, if that person leaves me, I lose 50% of my top line revenue. It's best I diversify because I spread my risk by having many different sources of income, bringing top line revenue to one business. So you have 3 different translations. Somebody could say, this is all multiple streams of income, Patrick, isn't it? Well, yeah, of course it is. So the question comes back to, and here's what the question is. Should I do this one? Should I do this one? Or should I do this one? Because right now there's a lot of business coaches online that'll tell you, this is the way to go. This is what you need to be doing. You ought to be going out there making money this way. But they've never really built a business. They've never really raised capital. They've never really sold a business. They've never really had a big victory. And yet they're wanting to be a business coach to show you how to go out there and do all this other stuff. Now, I don't have a problem with that. There's a lot of different ways to make money in America, and to each his own. You can go out there and make money the way you want to make it. So now, when you look at these 3 things, this is what you ought to be thinking about. This guy, does he generalize or does he specialize? The one that's got 7 different businesses. He's generalizing. This one's right in the middle. This one is specializing. You know what people pay the most money? People who specialize. Those who specialize make the most money. Those who generalize typically are always generalizing into a new thing. Let me give you a story here. Jack Ma, a few months ago, not even a few months ago, a few weeks ago, he was asked by this one guy that was interviewing him at this forum, big. Jack Ma, oh my gosh, he knows everything. This guy's Alibaba. He's brilliant. The guy asked him a question. So what do you think about Bitcoin? This guy starts answering, Jack Ma. And he says, well, let me tell you my opinions about Bitcoin. I disagree. 1 minute into his answer, here's what he does. He says, look, I can be very honest with you. I don't know enough about Bitcoin to give you an educated opinion about Bitcoin. Jack Ma? Yes. Jack Ma understands I don't specialize Bitcoin. Why am I going to act like I know everything about Bitcoin? He put it on the interviewer, and the interviewer's like, wow, the $47 billion man doesn't know about Bitcoin. Who would you rather be? The interviewer that's sitting there like, how does this guy not know anything about Bitcoin? I know more about Bitcoin. Would you rather be the 16-year-old kid that says, I know way more about blockchain and Bitcoin than this guy does? Would you rather be the 27-year-old that just bought Ripple? I know more about Bitcoin than Jack Ma. Or be Jack Ma. I mean, that to me is a no-brainer. Jack Ma doesn't need to know about Bitcoin to be worth $47 billion. Because his goal in life is not to generalize. His goal in life is to specialize. And you, believe it or not, admire those who specialize. But majority of the populace gets sold by the people who generalize. Just remember that. My challenge to you, you follow Valuetainment, whether you like this or not, I'm giving you what I'm thinking about. Here's what it is. Let all these guys go out there and generalize. Let them go out there and do 50 different businesses. Let them go out there and one day talk about this, another day talk about that, another day talk about this. And by the way, I'm not telling you not to be well-read. I'm all about reading. I'm all about educating yourself. I'm all about you going out there, getting the information so you kind of know to make an educated decision and be able to have an educated conversation, whether you're at a bar or a networking event. You need to know that. But I'm specifically talking about streams of income, not conversation starters. So this is my challenge. Let everybody do what they do for you. Decide when you're going to put yourself out there to have multiple streams of income. Now watch, this is going to be a contradiction to what I'm saying to you. I'm not telling you this doesn't make sense, but at what point? Here's what I mean. We bought a hotel recently, Crown Plaza, for $36 million. I bought it with a couple of the investors that I'm working with. We bought a $36 million hotel, Crown Plaza. Great. We bought this place. Why did I buy this place? Here's how I make the decision on why I buy this place. My business is what I do with insurance and PHP and valuetainment, right? This is what I'm doing. I said, how much time is it going to need from me? None. You're just a money guy. No problem. What are we looking at? Here's what we're looking at. This is what we own. This is what the dividends we get. Perfect. Here you go, resources. Now I do it at a very later stage of my career to additional having multiple streams of income because I'm sitting on a lot of cash today. Then you do it, not the other way around. I am so glad I didn't buy into this multiple streams of income idea here to just make $22,000 a month. And imagine if I would have just done that to have missed out on the hundreds of millions of dollars that are made. Big difference because I chose to listen to a guy like Carnegie who decided to specialize. And by the way, some of you guys will come back and say, but Pat, I know a lot of rich people that say you should have multiple streams of income. Yes, but at what stage of their career? When they're first getting started, there's no way in the world. They may say that when they're 42 after they've already made a lot of money. They have to do that. Yes, they have to do that. That's like you asking a question, how do I become a good grandpa, and you don't even have any kids yet. First go have kids. First go find a girlfriend. First go find a husband. First go find a wife. Then make some babies, and then be concerned about how to become a grandpa. But number one, specialize. Number one. And if you truly, hear me out, each has a risk. Because you can go out there and put all your eggs into one basket and specialize in one industry, and this industry could change, and you're going to lose. But my bet on you is, if you put your money on specializing over generalizing, I am willing to bet on you 8 out of 10 times you're going to win over the guy that generalizes. For the 2 times that these guys win, let them win. I'm not worried about these guys winning on that side. Just know when you decide to have different sources, invest into this business, invest into that business, invest into this business. Do that way later on while you're focused on specializing in one business, one industry. Later on, you'll have plenty of opportunities to generalize.